Welcome to the Fitness Freedom Podcast. Today I have Bea Frischler. She's the founder and CEO of Be Healthier and the author of the book Embody Joy. She's also a Harvard certified lifestyle and wellness coach, professional coach, and nutrition and fitness coach. And she helps high achieving women heal their relationship with their bodies and redefine wellness from the inside out. Welcome, Bea.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited to be speaking with you, Michelle, today.
Yay. So, first off, can you tell us a little bit about your story? And I've been doing some sleuthing with you on the internet, so I know you have a great story and I want to hear you share it on the podcast.
Well, I am a Dominican immigrant. I came to the United States when I was 19 years old. And as a good immigrant, I hustled really hard. I started by working at a factory during the day and going to community college at night. And I progressively elevated my career and my education to the point that I graduated with a master's degree from Columbia University. And you mentioned all my other certifications that came after my wellness journey.
Okay.
um, but in that process of the hustle, I neglected my body a lot. In my 20s and 30s, I work full time, I study at night, and that led to dealing with obesity, inflammation, unregulated high blood pressure, and many challenges, many reproductive health challenges. At age 41, the worst thing happened. I had a brain aneurysm rupture.
Mm.
Brain aneurysms can be over 50% lethal. Thankfully, I survived, but that put me in the ICU for 20 days and led to me needing two brain surgeries. I had one brain surgery to correct the ruptured brain aneurysm. But then when they were, checking my arteries and my brain, they found that I had another on rupture brain aneurysm. So they once 3 weeks after they fixed the first one, they went back and fixed the second aneurysm. Thankfully, the one that ruptured was the smaller one. So while I was in the hospital, I was very nervous because they told me you have another one and it's bigger than the one that ruptured. So um, the the experience was transformative. I was, like I said, in the hospital for 20 days. I did not experience any kind of deficit, cognitive or physical, from my rupture. And it's quite surprising because I waited 12 hours to go to the hospital. So I was having a brain bleed for 12 hours before I went to the hospital. Apparently, I have a very high pain threshold, which sounds like a thing to be proud of, but no, it's not. It actually is a bad thing because you're not aware of how bad things are. So I actually walked into the ER and I didn't know that the situation was as serious as it was. But coming out of that experience alive and intact made me rethink my relationship with my body. And that's when I started taking micro steps to improve my health. I said, you know what, body? I have been treating you very poorly, and I'm going to do everything I can to treat you better. And what was wonderful is that I did it purely out of gratitude. In the past, I had engaged in wellness practices to change my appearance, but this time was just about saying thank you. So I
Wow.
started with movement. And because I focused just on one thing at a time, I was able to enjoy them on their own. I started with movement, I started with daily movement, and I fell in love with the mental health benefits of exercise. I noticed that I had a lot less anxiety. I'm more anxious than sad and very high energy. So I
Mhm.
had a lot less anxiety, and then I started eating more consciously. Eventually, I did make changes to my diet with the goal of weight loss because I learned that I was also pre-diabetic, and that through weight loss I could also regulate my blood pressure better and release the inflammation. And in 2 years after my aneurysm, I was in the best health of my life. I had released 55 pounds. I had released all the inflammation, and my blood pressure has been regulated. I still take medication, but my blood pressure has been regulated ever since. I actually have decreased the dosage of my medication. I think when I left the hospital, I was taking 50 milligrams of Vasotec, and just recently I changed it to 5 milligrams. So it is amazing what behavior modification and can do to progressively improve your health. And since you Google me, um, I started playing with my body and seeing what it can do, and I became a runner in my 40s. And I keep challenging myself, not because I need to try harder, but because it's just fun to figure out what new things can your middle-aged body do. I'm 49 and I'm getting ready to turn 50. And my new challenge is to try to do pull-ups. I'm nowhere near there yet, but I'm training for
That's
it.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that about your story. I want to rewind a little bit, and I know you told me that you were an immigrant. You moved when you were 19 and you hustled. You went to work during the day and you studied at night. And I know that stress over years and years contributed into all the health factors that you experienced. Can you just paint a little bit of a clearer picture of what that looked like? You mentioned also before I hit record that you have a husband and a cat. So not sure if you're a mother or you're obviously a partner, but like, how did that play? Like, what was your daily life like? Because I want people to understand too, like, how that burden of working so hard without recovery or without taking care of yourself can contribute to all of those health factors before you made your changes.
Yes, so yes, I am married. This is my second marriage, and maybe some of the challenges from my 20s and 30s contributing to the first marriage ending.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, like I mentioned, I came to the US when I was 19. My first job was in a factory floor in Newark, New Jersey, and it was just waking up, going to the job, getting on a bus, and going to community college. And my diet, like my transition meal from the factory um, to the school, was a Snickers bar and a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate. So I
Mm.
pretty much ran on caffeine and chocolate and sugar. The whole time I was doing my bachelor's and my master's. Well, on my master's, I ran on pizza.
Okay, okay.
So anything that I could do to like spark my energy. So once I got married, moved to New York, continued my education in New York City, completed my bachelor's in the City University of New York, and it would be a lot of takeout because there wasn't time for cooking. Even though I didn't have the income to support eating too much takeout, but both my ex-husband and I were studying and working full time. And then when I got to grad school, I got into a executive master's program because I'm in the social impact sector, so I already had a managerial experience in a nonprofit. And I will work during the week. I will take all my classes on Saturday, and I was reading over 500 pages of text a week.
Whoa.
So it was very, sitting at work, sitting at home studying, sitting all day on Saturday taking classes. It was very, very sedentary and eating in front of a computer all the time.
And how much sleep would you say you got normally, like those during those years?
It depended. I think I tried to catch up on Sunday, but yeah, if I had a paper due, you know, I will be on the computer typing until I got as much, until my brain gave up and I knew I couldn't type anymore.
Wow, that was a lot of like pushing yourself until got so bad where that turning point happened. And I know that where there's a lot of before and after pictures, with transformation stories, but they don't show what's happening underneath. So,
Yes.
what was the internal transformation like for you when, after that aneurysm, you mentioned gratitude and you mentioned like wanting to make those small changes, but what was going on in your mind when you decided to make that huge shift?
I'll be honest, some of the changes started before the aneurysm. I actually had started seeing a somatic therapist
Cool.
about 6 months before the aneurysm happened because I was I was really bad. As I mentioned, I was having reproductive health issues. I have fibroids.
Mm,
I had very long periods, and even though I was overweight and I was overeating, I was heavily anemic. Um, so I don't know if it was on a podcast, but I learned um, about somatic therapy, and I said, I'm pretty sure that whatever is impacting me is because there's some type of disconnect between my mind and my body.
that's so intuitive.
Yeah, I started going to a somatic therapist, and I will tell you, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. And I was working with her. I actually had a hysterectomy 2 months. It was that year was an interesting year. I had a hysterectomy 2 months before my aneurysm happened. So I had a hysterectomy in January 2018, and my aneurysm happened in March. But after the hysterectomy, I started feeling better. And I transitioned from one-on-one therapy to group therapy. No joke. It's all in the book, in my book, Embody Joy. Um, the night before my aneurysm happened, I had my first group therapy session. And they asked me what were my goals in participating in the group therapy. And I said, I want to be more open minded and feel more connected to people. So I say, be careful what you say because God is listening. And I say, more open minded. I didn't mean literally have my head cracked open. And feeling more connected to people, I will say in those 20 days that I was in the hospital, I had over 100 visitors.
Wow.
Thankfully, it happened before COVID because, if it had happened during COVID, it would have been during the COVID lockdown, it would have been a different experience. But I had people from all my walks of life that came and visited me and showed me love and told me what I meant for them. And I felt so loved. So the two things that I said in therapy, open-minded, happened literally, and feeling more connected happened through that experience.
Wow.
So I saw it as a divine intervention. For me, especially in hindsight, it was a very positive experience for my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. It was very painful experience. Uh, but I was already in a trajectory of trying to heal my relationship with my body, and the aneurysm expedited it.
Mm. And the encouragement to keep going, it sounds like, was that love and connection, and that drove a motive of gratitude for you to make those changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had a strong feeling of not being enough. And I was able to see through the words of the people that supported me and visited me that I actually have been contributing and I had more to contribute. And now you're going to make me cry.
That's all right. You had more to contribute.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Be Healthier community was born after I went through my health journey from other executive women. I am a municipal government. Besides being the founder of Be Healthier, I also am an executive in municipal government here in New York City, and I have a very big network of very powerful women.
That's cool.
So we started as an organic community, um, as an accountability group to help one another improve our health. And just by coming together with no structure whatsoever, we started seeing changes. And that's when I said, there's something here. I want this to be bigger. And that's how Be Healthier was born.
Yes. Okay. So you do work with a lot of, I guess, successful, high up there women. What are some common pain points that you see or some common struggles? that you see with the women that you work with and be healthier?
Um, so time is definitely something that gets in the way when sometimes you think that because you are a leader, um, you can do whatever you want, but you sometimes have a lot of people depending on you and um, taking your time. So time is a big challenge. Another thing is for the women in my community, most of the women are over 40. So perimenopause and menopause are a big challenge. Because I had a hysterectomy, I experienced menopause early. Um, I find as for many women also that body neglect becomes a side effect of a side effect of imposter syndrome. I find that a lot of women after getting a promotion or moving up professionally, they really stop caring for their bodies. They become, hyper intellectual. And some of it may be the sense of responsibility to their new role, but I think some of it is an unconscious belief that they don't deserve to have this amazing job or this amazing business and a healthy body to carry it.
Wow, that is so insightful and true, I imagine. So time and that imposter syndrome that you mentioned at the end, and hormonal changes that
Yeah,
happen in
hormonal
that
changes.
stage of life. How do you support women? Like, what do you find as some solutions to help them with those challenges?
Well, at Be Healthier, we use our six success principles. We focus on mindset first, connecting to a strong why, and also identifying limiting beliefs. And some of those connect to imposter syndrome. So, your why is what moves you forward, your limiting beliefs is what puts the brakes sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I still deal with limiting beliefs all the time. Then we focus on conscious eating. It's really about connecting with your body and understanding how your body receives food and processes food by slowing down and paying attention. And also, of course, learning about nutrition and leveraging tools that can help you meet your goals, whether it's macro tracking if you're trying to build more muscle or um, portion control if you're trying to create a calorie deficit. We talk about those tools. Because high achieving women are very busy, we celebrate and encourage that all movement is good movement. You don't have to go be at a gym for 2 hours every day to be in shape. No, use your standing desk, set up a walking meeting, park farther away from the office, take the steps instead of the elevator. Whatever you can do to keep your body in motion is good. All movement is good movement. And then we talk about the importance of prioritizing rest and relaxation. You can do the nutrition right and the exercise right. And if you don't get enough rest, nothing is going to happen.
Yep, absolutely.
Nothing is going to happen because your body is not going to recover properly. Your body is not going to absorb the nutrients, and your cortisol levels are going to be too high for any positive change to happen. So we talk a lot about that, and we actually use, professional development techniques like a strategic delegation to manage stress, like setting boundaries, like setting concrete start and ending times to your workday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about the importance of sleep and sleep hygiene, including in the challenging times of perimenopause and menopause when you're dealing with hot flashes. What things you can do to, even if you have a spouse like me, keep your side of the room cooler. And we also celebrate non-scale victories, those successes that we experience along the way. And many of our membership has expanded to a point that most people are not concerned with weight loss. They're just concerned with feeling better. And
Mm-hmm.
we actually originally had the name Executive Losers and then changed to Be Healthier to reflect the population that we're serving. Because even for those that weight loss is a goal, It's a temporary and small part of the goal. So we are focusing on sustainability. So we celebrate non-scale victories, which are changes in behavior, stopping needing some medications. Like I celebrated going down to 5 milligrams of my
Hmm.
blood pressure medication, and we celebrate honoring ourselves. And then our biggest success principle is the magnifying power of community. I'm there as the leader because we're still a very small company. We have about 180 members, but it's all digital. And I have a very small team supporting me. Uh, but the wisdom of the women in the community is amazing. You can be dealing with a specific challenge, and somebody in the community went through it and they can tell you how to overcome it. You want to try a new tool? Everybody now is using weighted vests is a big trend, and they share, resources and things, types of fabrics for sleeping at night that allow you to go through your hot flashes, um, things like that. The community elevates one another, and because this is a community of professionals, they also do a little professional networking and support each other in their careers as well. So
That
those are the things, the tools that we use for the community.
it sounds really connected and very practical as well, and specific to who you're working with.
Yeah,
Middle-aged women who are professionals who are low on time. And what you're to your point about sleep and rest, I would say that's probably the most challenging, like not just, having a 5-minute break, but really getting to that state of relaxation. That can be so challenging with so many demands, not only in your professional life, but in your personal life. There's so much put on women in the middle age to perform and fill all these duties, and that can be challenging. It's not just, the individual, but the systems that need to change as well, as I'm sure.
definitely.
Yeah. Uh, so you talk a lot about reconnecting with yourself, reconnection with your body, like your book, Embody Joy. It's subtitled A Woman's Journey of Reconnection with Her Body. What does it mean to be connected to your body? Like to you, what does that mean, Bea?
It means slowing down and paying attention.
Mhm.
Um, it means, for example, understanding when the difference when your body feels depleted because you need more rest or because you need a really good workout to energize you and wake you up. Understanding if you are um, feeling anxious or hungry, understanding um, the signals that your body is providing. And sometimes that also means connecting with your intuition,
Mhm.
which allows you to make decisions that are in alignment and reduces the stress and some of the other things that we experience. When I was going through my embodiment journey, I remember um, being in a consent workshop and being given permission to say yes or no to certain things that were happening, and feeling in my stomach the feeling of a no, a
Mhm.
subtle no. Because when it's a sharp no, everybody knows that no, that's a no. But the subtle no, and breaking down and crying at the workshop because I realized how many times in my life I felt that subtle no and I push it aside and I say yes to please the other person.
Absolutely. We do that all the time as women, unfortunately. But not just women, but especially women. We're trained to do that.
And then, that same thing is what the signal that tells you, I'm satisfied, I don't need more food. That same signal is the signal that tells you, it will do you well to go for a walk. The same signal is the signal that tells you, you know what, just get some tea and go to bed and read a good book.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Because we try to separate, the go message from the stop message and make one better than the other. But it's the same mechanism. It's your intuition talking to you. I just did a session today with some clients about like communicating and how your body speaks to you, but we don't slow down to even care what it's saying because we think like, oh, I'm fine. Or we don't slow down to just like listen to what it really has to say.
Yes.
Yeah, why do you think we're so scared to do that sometimes? Or why do you think we don't do that enough?
Um, I think we de-emphasize the role of the body, even though we talk about gut feelings and all that. I think we de-emphasize it. For me personally, I think religion presented always the body as a bad thing, sins of the flesh. Um,
Yes.
and I have learned to my experience that actually honoring the body and caring for the body is a form of prayer. Like I can go for a run and feel more connected to God than if I was down on my knees.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, oh my God, my lungs can breathe and I can move and I can do all these things. This body is amazing. Thank you, God.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also for high achieving women, we want to be productive all the time. We want to do, do, do. And I keep saying we because I'm still challenged by this. We want to just be productive, and slowing down feels unproductive. Slowing down and paying attention and connecting to our bodies feels like we should be doing something better. There's an email that needs to be sent.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the biggest shifts that I've made in my own health is just being willing to be still and slow down. And I do it with my clients in my work and then in my sessions. And it's really incredible when people are brave enough to sit with that discomfort and to slow down and what they discover on the other side. That is so important. So slowing down and listening, that's how we reconnect with our bodies.
And I mean, and I done a lot of healing work, like the work I did with my therapist, but sometimes also it's a numbing mechanism, not listening, keeping busy or, overeating, keeping busy, creating new tasks to do is a way of numbing out and not paying attention to your traumas and your pain that haven't been processed.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's we're afraid to reach into those painful parts. What would you say to someone who maybe is in that place of like just wanting to stay busy and keep going, going, doing, and maybe there are some things that they need to deal with. What would you encourage them in?
Well, I'm a big advocate for therapy. I'm a huge advocate for somatic therapy because of how well it worked for me. On our end, in our community, we help you with the behaviors that make you feel physically better and also emotionally better. We all have heard about the book The Body Keeps the Score. Movement does help with emotional processing,
Hmm.
but find a good professional that is in alignment with you, that you can work with and release those traumas that if they are really getting in the way of that communication between you and your body.
Hmm. That's good advice. Good advice. And I like to ask all of my guests one question, but before I ask that, where would you like people to find you? How would you like people to connect with you?
Well, everybody can find me at behealthier.com, but Be Healthier is spelled BEA, like the beginning of my name, healthier.com. We're on all the socials as Be Healthier. You can also find my book in Amazon, Embody Joy, by Beatrice Fritschler. And this is the story of my health journey. And yes, and right now, I'm doing a weekly webinar called the Be Healthier Hour. So through my website, is right there at the beginning of my website. You can sign up for free and
Oh.
spend an hour with me on Wednesday evenings talking about the behavioral compounding methods that we use. Those little behavioral changes that add on and compound over time, creating better health for you, for your families, for your communities. Um, One high achieving woman at a time.
That's so generous. That sounds like an amazing place for people to connect with you. So beahealthier.com. I'll have the link in the show notes. And then I do want to point out that your book on Amazon has only 5-star reviews.
Oh,
Incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a book or a product have only five
you
stars.
know, those are all my friends.
Well, you're well loved for sure. You're well loved. So, my question for you before we get off, if you could share one message of health with the entire world, what would it be? What would you share with the world?
Health is simpler than you think. Shut down the external noise. There's a lot of noise out there. Sit down, pay attention to your body, and she will show you the way she wants to be treated.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love it so much. I completely agree. I completely agree. Thank you so much, Bea, for being on the show. Thank you. I know you
Thank
left.
you.
Yes, I appreciate you making time in your busy schedule. Thank you for what you've done for the world. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being who you are. Just your existence makes the world a better place, and I'm appreciative of you.
And I do want to say one more thing.
Yes.
Please know that part of the proceeds of my book go to the Aneurysm and ABM Foundation, a wonderful organization that helps with aneurysm research and also with support for survivors and people that have been impacted by brain aneurysms.
That's amazing. Yes, you have such a giving spirit, and I can see that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.